Hey guys, Prangell Gaming here. Welcome back to another episode of Talk the Wall. It's now episode 4 and we have plenty to talk about this week, including the signing of Jake Cooper and Millwall finally, I am not even joking, winning a pre-season friendly. How about that? But if you did, if you did actually manage to miss any of the last 3 episodes of Talk the Wall podcast, there's 2 that myself and Taylor have been in, and there was one that I did solo last week. Click the I button, you can get a link to the playlist for that one, or alternatively, look in the description, there'll be a link to episode 3. Now leave your comments in the description, or the comment section should I say, of this video, and we'll go through them next week. So into the news for this week. Jake Cooper finally joined Millwall. A player that really I didn't expect to sign for Millwall at all. I actually have a story about this. I was at work all day and sometimes I go on my phone, sometimes I don't. You're not always meant to go on your phone, but I was just scrolling through and it's the first time I've been on my phone all day and they actually announced that we'd signed Cooper. My face literally was so happy. And Taylor, I don't know how you was feeling when we signed Cooper because this deal was literally stretching on for ages. Did you even think it was going to happen?
No, I did not. Like, as a start, I'd never thought this would happen. This is a bit different because I thought we were going to start Mark Beavers more than anything. I thought he was coming back because I did hear some rumours that he was. Like, we've put him a bid for him.
Yeah, I heard that on Twitter as well, yeah.
So, for that, from Cooper to Beavers, I think I'm more happy with Cooper, especially what he not really what he done against Leicester, a standing slide tackle.
Yeah, I know that was that wasn't great. Well, it shows he's got a bit of Millwall in him.
Yep, exactly, and it's going to get him more game time than it did at Reading. So, yeah, overall happy. And can I say I'm sorry for last week that I wasn't here. I just overslept and. Yeah.
Yeah, so I've got to admit that was quite funny when I was speaking to him about it after the podcast and everything, and he said, I'm really sorry, I was in bed. And because we usually record it on a Sunday, it can be a time where you oversleep. I have an alarm and I go straight off to it. And yeah, he just wasn't here. It doesn't matter so much because he's here now. We're all good to go on this one. Now, can I just say with Cooper, he played 18 times last season. And I think that it's crucial that we get the players that got us promoted. So I'm glad that he's here. I think that he means business. And those pictures, he looks nasty in those pictures. So hopefully he's here and he's going to be a brilliant signing for this football club. Now, the next story is about Fred and the fact that he didn't actually want to leave Millwall. Now, I actually expected this. The whole time people were saying, look, Fred should be slated. He shouldn't be allowed to play if he wants to leave the club. And I said all the time in last year's podcast that I never expected for him to go on and leave. He played 54 times for us last season. Why would he want to leave the club, especially when we got promoted? And I just want to say, did you think that Fred was going to go ahead and leave? And where did you think he was actually going to end up going in the end?
I'm in the same boat. I didn't think he'll end up leaving, but if he was to leave, I thought he would go Watford.
Right, yes. Yeah, no, that...
Only because the fact they were interested in him the year before and he stayed. So...
Alright, that's fair enough. I heard Watford stronger than most clubs. I mean, Marco Silva is a very good manager to be under. I'm really liking him. I'm actually upset that he went to Watford because in my eyes, I know Hull's not a great club and everything, but going to a club like Watford, I really don't think it's much better. I think he's a quality manager and I really hope Watford do well because he's there. Now, Millwall had a 500k bid rejected off of Southend for Ryan Leonard. This kid just cannot get out the club. He's just not having any bids accepted. I know that Sheffield United and us were looking at trying to get him. And obviously, we haven't decided to go with him. We've gone with someone else. I'll talk a bit about that later on. But we put the same bid in, 500k, as what Sheffield United did. And it seems that both of us slowly but surely trying to turn our ties away from the player, as John Lundstrom has joined Sheffield United. And I do feel that this is a deal that neither side will happen. And I don't feel that that's great for a player. If he's put in a transfer request, I think that he should be leaving. Now, what do you reckon on the actual Leonard story? Do you think that he's going to be leaving Southend? And if so, do you think it's either going to be to Sheffield United or us? Because I seriously don't think he'll be leaving. And I think he's going to really have some problems. And he's going to have to go to the fans and just hope that they take him back.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think he will leave this window, but I'm sure that he'll leave in January. Because I reckon, the club's going to be like, oh, he's a fan favourite, let's make him stay. And then he gets, say, a bad reception, then the fans aren't happy with him, and then the club will be like, right, he's not good enough for the, fans. The fans don't want him. Let's sell him in January. So then I reckon Millwall should put in a 500k bid again in January to see how that goes.
Yeah, I think it's worth a shout. I mean, I don't know whether we need him so much now, because I think we've got a really nice team. I'm really impressed with the players we've got, and I'll talk about more about Harris's policies and who he wants to sign. Does he even want to sign any more players? I mean, the fact is Harris has said that he may, if he's actually going to go and get anyone at all, he does possibly want an experienced goalkeeper. Now, I was trying, when I was making the notes to research for this, I was trying to think of someone that we could have. And I mean, if there's anyone out there on loan, I think that we could possibly get Middlesbrough's Connor Ripley, but I don't think he's going to want to sit on the bench and be second fiddle to Jordan Archer. Do you know much about Ripley? Obviously, he played for Oldham last season.
The only thing I know is that he's good at saving 2 penalties in the 90th minute.
Yeah, I know. He's a quality goalkeeper, and I was researching and having a look, because Middlesbrough have just signed, I believe, Jason Steele off of Blackburn. And I was really, really confused about that, because we're now in the Championship, so we should be looking at Championship clubs quite a lot. And it's so strange that he hasn't been picked to play for Middlesbrough, because he's a quality goalkeeper. I mean, Oldham, let's be honest, I would be unfair to the fans saying if they were a great club, because I don't feel they are, unfortunately. I think that they were really dependent on him last season, and they're going to struggle this season. I feel sorry for saying that to Oldham fans, but that's the way it is. I didn't even think they were a great club when he joined them, and, well, he made them really good. Now, Neil Harris, before the game against Granada, said that he doesn't know his starting 11 yet, and everyone is going to have to battle for shirts. Now, after the game, he said the team that played Granada would not be the confirmed team, and a lot of rumours were going around that it would be. And one of the big names that was missing was Tony Craig. And I wonder whether, because Craig isn't in there, that's the only reason he's saying that. Because that team looks strong. That looks pretty much nailed on to be the squad we'd be playing. I mean, you went to the game today, so you know how they played and everything. The team looked pretty good. And would you reckon that would be the team that would be playing? Because I certainly do think it will be.
Yeah, I think it will. Only the reason because we, normally when we play, we, get the ball and we just panic, and then we kick the ball up the field halfway, to the halfway line, and we lose the ball to an header. But, in this game, if we never had space, we passed it back, we kept the cool, and we kept the ball on the floor. And then that, made the team sort of back off a bit. So then when, we were just, calling the play down, when they went up below us, we just went full pelt at them. And I think that's how we got the goals in the end. So I think it was really strong. I really did look the like of Elliot. He was good. So, I hope that's the team.
Now, of old players, I did this last week where I talked about a couple of players that used to play for Millwall that have gone on to other clubs. This week, I'm talking about Lewis Grabban, everyone's favourite ex-Millwall player. He's just gone and joined Sunderland on loan. He's such a bizarre player. I don't even think he's that great. I don't think he's Championship quality. And he certainly doesn't like coming down to Millwall. I think he's going to be ill when he has to come down to the Den. I really do. And I'm going to be honest. Do you even think he's a good striker? Because I think every time I see him play, he isn't good. I wouldn't even say he's a League One quality player.
No, was he at Bournemouth before?
Yeah, he was at Bournemouth
Yeah.
before, and he did play us in the FA Cup in the one where we actually beat him. But he just doesn't. I don't see how he's that good of a striker. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, he's not. He's look, you have Jermaine Defoe, an England international. Who do you change it for? Lewis Grabban.
Yeah, I think Bournemouth have been great though signing Defoe. I think that one you have to watch, and even though we're in a championship, I've got to say I do want to watch the Premier League this upcoming season because I didn't watch them much last season, but this transfer window has been absolutely incredible. Now with Millwall, we played 2 games. One which was a friendly against Stevenage where we drew 0-0. And yeah, this wasn't the best. And I was going to be honest, when I saw that we was playing Stevenage and going off of recent form, I said, look, there is no way I actually reckon we're going to beat them. I said, I believe, 2-1 in my score prediction for this game. And really, I knew full well that it probably wasn't going to happen. I was hopeful that it was going to happen, but it never did. The main 2 chances were when Fred hit the post and then Elliot had his shot saved in the second half. Did you go to that game?
No,
you didn't go to that one. All right, so fair enough. No one can really comment on how we played, but I didn't hear a lot of great things coming out from that one. But the one that I did was when we beat Granada. I mean, we're recording this Saturday night, so this is pretty fresh. We got the goals from Wallace that I've actually seen all these goals now, so I can say I was really impressed with the goals. Wallace, Williams and Aiden scored. The first was a free kick from Wallace that actually beat the keeper on the near post. Then Williams hit the ball low and it drove past the keeper in the 52nd minute. And then Aiden had a diving header that went into the back of the net. But you were the one that went to the match. Walk us through what actually happened, how good we were, the star performers.
Well, I reckon in my sense, Tom Elliott, really stood out. I don't know if it's tall, because he's tall. But no, I'm saying the first touch, he chested it down and then he got a sweet volley on it and the keeper parried out for a corner. And then at that corner, he's headed it and it hit the bar. So he can obviously get shots on target.
Wow.
But he does lack the passing ability. Wallace does make good runs. Also, the Granada team that we're playing were dirty. They played a dirty game. All they done was try and take out, the people who could run, shoot, score, and in a fair sense, that's how you do win. You do take out their best players, so they are stranded, I guess. But
I heard that we outclassed them.
We did.
Did that actually happen?
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's a relief.
Yeah. No, we did. In the first half, we were just dominant, and then in the second half, they sort of stepped up their game, but we still did dominate them. And for me, the star performer was Conor McLaughlin. He had a really good game.
All right. That's interesting to see because I do rate him highly, and I think that it's going to be interesting to see him and Marlon battle off. Now, we was talking about this game, and there was a bit of news just before the game that completely threw me off guard, and that's the fact we signed Ryan Tunnicliffe on a free transfer. He used to play for Fulham, and he seems a pretty good player. We signed him on a 2-year deal. He played 21 times for Fulham last season. He did only score 1, and he's been compared to Ben Thompson. He likes to do the defensive work, and he smashes through the players. Now, when he was interviewed, he did say he wears his heart on his sleeve, and Harris has called him a proper Wall player. What can you make of this player? I don't know whether you know so much about him, but do you think this is a good transfer in the sense we've gone out and got another midfielder?
Yeah. I never saw this coming. To be honest, I thought we were gonna get Ryan Leonard from Southend. So then for us to now
Yeah.
go and get him from Fulham, I was shocked. I didn't really see this like sort of heading like for us. You know what I mean? So it's a bit. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
pleased. You know what I mean? Was he the one at Man United, or he was?
Yes. Yeah. It's good memory. Yeah. He came from the
Yeah.
United Academy, and he seems a pretty good player. But now that we've signed him, it does mean that we're not going to be signing any more outfield players unless someone's ill or injured. We have signed 7 players. It doesn't sound Millwall to say 7 players have actually come in, and quite a lot of them are actually decent names as well. We've signed Meredith, Elliott, Wallace, Saville, McLaughlin, Cooper, and
Wow.
now Tunnicliffe. And if you look at that, you have Wallace, Saville, and Cooper, 3 of them that have already played for us in the past. So that is good business, in my opinion. Now, moving on into the questions. BTJW Gaming sent me an email and he said, what position do you think Millwall will finish in this season? He said, I've watched many prediction videos and they're saying that Millwall will get relegated. I reckon they're going to finish 16th. So what I'm going to do, Taylor, is I'm going to let you go ahead and answer it first, and then I'll answer it after yourself.
Well, I've done a prediction thing on the championship on my Twitter, but I think we will finish 14th personally. And if you want to go and check my full thing out at Taylor underscore GB underscore always plug.
Yeah, no, it's all right. I will put that in the description of this so you can go check that one out for yourself. Yeah. Now, with my one, this is so hard because I don't remember. I think I said last week that I think there's a lot of transfers that have gone our way, and a lot of people think we're actually going to do really well. So I actually think that we're going to do a lot worse than people think. I don't think we're going to go down, but I think we're going to be very, very close. I know. Sorry to put a dampening on the spirits. We've signed some great players. I think that we've got an exceptional squad, but I do think that with the signings we've made and the team we've got, and we're kind of thinking, yep, we're going to have this. We're going to go in there, have it great. But what we've got to remember is we don't remember what the Championship's like. We haven't been here for quite a long time now. So a couple of years we've missed out of it. It's changed a little bit. There's more money in there. There's certainly better teams in there. Let's be honest. We've got quite a few decent ones that I never expected to see down there. I mean, Sunderland are finally down there. I'm not saying they're a decent team, but it's interesting. It's going to be a hard one. And I'm going to go for 19th. I know that sounds really bad. And you have a reason to feel quite angry with me. And I know that people are going to complain about that in the comments section. But I hope it's not going to be that way. I really hope we're going to do a lot better. But I do think that we're thinking we're going to do a lot better than what we will. Now, the next person to comment, he left quite a few. It's Liam Gaming 2. His first question is an interesting one. And he said, do you think we're getting to the Premier League ever? Now, what do you reckon, Taylor?
Well, if all of the Premier League and Championship clubs go extinct, maybe.
You don't reckon?
Nah, we're not. There's no way.
I tell you what, there's one thing I will say. I think it's unlikely. I do, and I've always said that in the past. But if anyone's going to do it, I reckon it'll be Neil Harris that does it. I don't think anyone else will, but I think if anyone's going to, it will be Harris.
You're saying we're going to finish 19th?
Oh, yeah, no, I don't think this season, but I think if we stay in the league, we can build on it and we can give it a go. But I do. I think under Harris we could get to the Prem in the future. I'm not saying we'll get there straight away. I think it's going to take a good couple of years, but I think I have confidence in Harris. I know I've blasted him in the past, but it's only because I care. And yeah, I think we could get there, but it's very unlikely. It's always going to be likely. We're Millwall. We're not one of these big teams, and it'd be a surprise. We'd be like the Huddersfield and the Brighton. That it'd be our first time in the history getting to what they now call as the actual Premier League. Now, he said another interesting question, and I actually was quite surprised with this one. He said, who do you want to keep? Now, what I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add something to this just to make it a little bit more interesting. Who's the top 4 players you want to keep in this Millwall team if it does go all wrong?
Oh, good question. Well, I'm gonna pick this off of sort of like our team base. So I'm gonna pick Archer
Yeah.
because he's a solid goalkeeper, obviously.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough.
I'm gonna go for Gregory.
Yeah, all right.
Wait, can we pick players that are just transferred?
Now, what I'll say is don't pick players that are just transferred because they're probably
Right.
going to stay with us regardless. Because I know nowadays transfers they do leave quite quickly, but I think we can transfers keep out of it.
Yeah. Noah Cheeseman.
Oh yeah, no, I do like him as well. I think he's going to be one of the better left backs that we've had in a while.
Yeah, and the only reason I'm saying that is that he's a bright future, and if we do go Pete Tong, it would help us.
Yeah.
So.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
One last one.
Thompson.
Thompson, yeah. All right, that's fair enough. That's self-explanatory. Right.
The last one I'd pick is everyone's favourite player, David Wall.
Oh no. You had to go there. You had to go.
Yeah, that's going to be something I'm going to try and add in every episode.
Oh no. That's bad. That's really bad. I'll give you mine. I guess it's only fair. The players I'd want to keep, I'd want to keep Williams. I think he's possibly the best player we've got at the club. Then I would go ahead and I would definitely want to keep Webster. I think that he had to come from nowhere of his Mill career and fight for it back. I'd then say Marlon because I do like Marlon. I think that we've got a lot in his future, and even if he does go, he's going to make us quite a lot of money because he's a good player. And then the final one it's really hard to think really because there's not a lot of players I like too much in the team. I think I'm going to have to go with Hayden O'Brien because I'm going to be honest with everyone here. I don't really like Morrison that greatly, and I don't like Gregory that greatly. I've been quite open about that. I would not be disappointed if either of those left, providing we would have someone new in there like Fred or Aiden. I would be quite happy with just seeing one of them leave and then someone new going in that position. Now, the next question, which I've kind of adapted from some that I've seen on his as well, is who is the worst Mill signing you have ever seen?
Ever.
Yeah.
Oh, God. What, in my lifetime or just ever?
Yeah, in your lifetime. Player that you've seen play.
Oh.
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, let me think.
Yeah? Alright. I kind of knew who I was going to go with straight away. It's a striker that used to play for us. I don't know how he ever got in a Millwall shirt. I can't remember who he was actually playing under. It was either Kenny or Holloway, but I think he was just before. Rob Hulse.
Yeah.
I hated him. I really hated him. I never wanted to see him in a Millwall shirt. He scored against Luton, and Millwall fans went absolutely mental. I said, this is no way. If he starts performing, I'm going to be so annoyed because he was so lazy. He was such a bad player. I don't think I ever was happy seeing him in a Millwall shirt.
Nah, that was under jacket, that.
Yeah? I was going to say, it was a very bad decision to bring him to the club. He was useless.
I am going to say, all jokes aside, Meyerhofer.
Yeah, no, that's a fair decision.
Because, he scored one... He claimed a goal against QPR when it was clearly an own goal. He just deflected it off the geezer's leg. It was going in a waste stand, heading towards Coblow Lane. And he took...
Yeah, no, I had to be fair that he might have been one with the spirit, but he certainly wasn't one with the football. He was really, really an embarrassing signing. Now, let's flip this one over. What's the best signing you've ever seen in a Millwall shirt?
Best?
Yeah. And what I'm going to say is don't have the ones that are currently in the team.
Yeah, good idea. I've got to say this, and yeah, Harris. I'm sorry. It's got to be.
Fair enough. That's fair enough.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw out an interesting one, probably one that not many people will agree on, but someone that I personally liked quite a lot, and I'm just upset that it was this stage in his career that he came to us. I'm going to say Danny Shittu.
Yes.
He was phenomenal.
Yes.
He was absolutely incredible. And I'm so disappointed that he came to us when he was older. Because had he been with us for quite a few more years, he would have been a legend. I mean, he does have a pretty good status with the club now. But he was such an important player to that team. He was so useful to have. And he was great with the fans. And he certainly knew how to lead a team. And I was just so disappointed that he was older when he joined us, because he could have made such a difference to that club. He did at the points that he was there, to be honest.
That's what we do. Danny Shittu. That's what we do.
I actually do think I got one of those shirts. I think, if I remember rightly, I actually went out and got one of those shirts.
Yeah, I've got one, but it's way too small for me now.
He was such an important figure to that team. And speaking of a player that left, we've got a question about saying, do we reckon someone's going to stay? And that's Byron Webster. Do you think he's actually going to stay at the club? Because a lot of people chat about him possibly leaving, possibly wanting to move up north. And I mean, he said this season at the start, when he first came out, he said Harris convinced him to stay because he was actually thinking about trying to leave because he wanted to play in the Championship. Do you think that he could actually be on his way out, potentially, especially if we've got Cooper at the club now?
No, I don't think so. I reckon if he does leave, he will go to Bolton, and then we will get Beavers on a swap.
You really want Beavers?
I want Beavers. I love the geezer. And then when he comes down and then at Bolton, he was getting booed. I was like, really? I loved him.
I'm going to be honest. Beavers, I never liked him.
What?
I think he was a good player, and I'm going to give him credit. He was a good player, but I just didn't get along with the way he played. He was too calamitous in the way he played. It frustrated me so much, especially, I think it was Archer that had the head of the ball off the line after he smashed it backwards.
Yeah,
it was just such a dozy player. I just didn't like him. The final question I'm going to say is, do we think that Forde will be staying at Cambridge for more than a year? Do you think that Forde's actually going to be staying on with more of his career, and do you reckon he's actually going to stay at Cambridge, or do you think he's going to hang up his boots after this final season in the League Two side?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I think he's going to just call it a day. Yeah, he's old enough as it is now, you know what I mean? So he's not...
I'll throw one more thing. One more thing, actually. What I'll do is, do you think he's going to come back as a coach to Millwall? Because I hope he does.
What, you liked him?
No, I like him as a player, and I liked him as a person. He was actually quite a nice bloke. And if you hear all the goalkeepers and the coaches, they're saying he's such instrumental with his knowledge. He may not be the best of players himself at all times. He really isn't. But he's an incredible coach, apparently. And I actually reckon that he could be coming back as a coach to us. And I think sooner rather than later, I think you're going to see that. I really hope he stays and actually stays on a year at Cambridge, leaves then, and then comes to us as a coach. I think that would be a perfect scenario for us.
I don't think so. I don't like the geezer.
No?
I sit in block 18 at the Den. And
right.
and when he was there, every time he made a save, everyone just went, way.
I've got to be honest, I was quite worried about him sometimes in the net.
Yeah, he just looked like a ghost standing there with some gloves. And then if he didn't get down in time, which I remember he never, he dived the ball and then threw it in his own net against Oxford in the Checker Trade Trophy.
Yeah, but you do have to give him credit where he's due. He was a club legend and, well, he still is. And he was really good in his time. He had some really good games. He actually had the highest amount of clean sheets for the majority of the seasons for about 3-4 years before he actually left. So he was a good player.
That's because he was the only person playing.
All right, I'll give you that. So that's all we've got time for this week. It's been a pretty interesting one. I think we do have to after this. But if you want to send some emails, it's brandonprangell@gmail.com. It'll be on the screen right now with the subject header, Talk the Wall. And I'll look through them and me and Taylor will discuss them next week. And obviously, just leave anything in the comment section. We'll get round and talk about that next week. And so it's a bye from Taylor.
See you later.
And it's a bye from me. And we'll be seeing you guys next week. And I've got something great to say. Well, great depending if you want to see stuff on my channel. And that's when the season starts, I will actually start to make content that's other than a podcast.
Hey.
Yes, I will be coming back, hopefully. I mean, I could possibly be going university, so I don't know how that's going to work. But I'm hoping to get a lot more content created. And I'm trying to play about with a lot more graphics on the screens like I was towards the end of the season. But obviously, we'll see you guys next week for the next Talk the Wall. But until then, like, comment, subscribe. And of course, we'll be seeing you next week. Goodbye.